I now wish to invite to the podium the Honorable Lekota. Order, honourable members, order. Honourable members, order.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable President, Deputy President, Honourable members of the House, allow me to dedicate my contribution to this debate to one of the youngest souls in South Africa, a person who, along her peers, devoted the majority of her life to solidarity with the workers, the peasants, and the oppressed of our motherland, and continues to do so even today. Mrs. Epenet Mamufugeng Mbeki, who celebrated her 97th birthday on Saturday, is arguably the great iconic figure of her generation. She is also one of the oldest members of the Congress of the People. And I ask fellow members of the House to join us in wishing her well in the years that lie ahead. I also wish to place on record our sincere and very deep sadness at the loss of Comrade Phyllis Naidoo, who served the cause of freedom and justice at home and around the world, and I plead with God, may her soul rest in peace. Today, Speaker, I would like to invite members of the House and the people of our country to join me in a short journey. As early as 2010, the Minister of Finance drew attention to expenditure on compensation on the wage bill of government, which he pointed out in 2010 claimed 40% of taxpayers' revenue. In 2011, he warned that personnel spending and debt service costs had grown rapidly. Then, in the 2012-2013 estimates, he pointed out the wage bill budgeted for was 35%, which in itself was a staggering amount looked at against the backdrop of a national revenue of 967.5 billion rands. Consequently, the minister pointed out that the wage agreement of 2012, which added 37.5 billion rand over the medium term, would also absorb a large share of additional allocations, which means money that had already been budgeted for services to our people would now be absorbed by additional salaries to those who walk up and down the passages of government offices, leaving the people without anything at all. The minister then went further and promised that, and I quote, government will take a more deliberate approach to managing overall employment and wage trends across the public sector. He added, government will curtail unwarranted growth in personnel numbers. When we came to the State of the Nation address here, I expected to hear that government had a plan to act on this urgent and devastating setback. I expected to hear that government, given the advice of the Minister of Finance, would take steps to review the public service, identify those who are redundant, eliminate such positions in staffing and save the nation huge savings. The president said nothing about it. I expected that I would hear that those who had been employed corruptly, those who were not qualified but were appointed only because they were being rewarded for being members of the party that is ruling, or they were relatives and so on, that there would be a process to identify them and eliminate them from the public service, so that the nation can then possess a sleek, trim public service, effective and efficient. The savings from such an exercise would then be diverted to provide the necessary service to the masses of our people in squatter camps, in the rural sides in the rural country sides, and so on. The president said nothing about it. Now we believe that anyone who's committed to fighting corruption must start by eliminating the corruption of paying month after month individuals who are not qualified, who are appointed without any regard to their qualifications, and who only consume but are not delivering anything on the agenda of the nation. I've listened to all of these speeches here, good speeches about what needs to be done. The secret is not in what colorful promises you make. It is in what practical hard steps you take to convert them into a hard reality that people can benefit from these things. It is not helpful. It is not helpful to make all of these colorful promises. It's alarming. It's quite alarming that the Deputy Auditor General says recently the government, both national and provincial, spent more than 102 billion rand on consultants between 2008 and 2009 and 2010 and 2011. 102 billion rand on consultants because relatives, friends, concubines are employed who have no qualification to do the work they are supposed to do. And so what happens, it is not my auditor, it is not my Deputy Auditor General, it is the government's appointed auditor, Deputy Auditor General, who says this is what has been done and done by your government. So, Speaker, the Auditor General also revealed...
Honorable Lekota, there's a point of order.
It is a question, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Lekota, will you take a question?
Speaker, if you give me additional time, and just suspend my time, you give me additional time. Yes. This is a trick to disrupt my speech,
yes,
and I won't be disrupted.
It isn't. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As the Minister responsible for the public service, I wondered who the concubines are that I employ.
If I may rise.
Proceed, sir.
Speaker, those minutes that I have lost, I hope you'll add them on, sir. Speaker, the Auditor General also revealed monumental losses as a result of fruitless and futile expenditures. In the 2009-2010, 2010-2011 financial years, 45 billion rand, 20 billion rand in the 2009-2010, 2010-2011, 25 billion was squandered by this government. 45 billion rand. I sit here and I think to myself, if this amount was used for bursaries, some 125 University students could have been funded over 3 years. If you gave them half bursary, 150,000 university students could have been supported over that time. South Africa could have produced engineers, could have produced civil engineers, mechanical engineers, doctors, and so on. But what happened to that money? It ended in the pockets of friends and family, favored ones, all these corrupt people who are there but who do not know anything about the work they're supposed to do, let alone to look after the resources of our nation. These billions of rands, this is money. It doesn't fall from the skies. That's what Shabir Sheikh asked. Does he think this money falls from the trees? So this money is being lost in this way. Billions of rands. Meantime, there are people who are going to bed without food. Meantime, there are children who are being born in shacks in Skayalisha in the middle of water in winter here. In the meantime, there are old and young who have, because the money has been squandered by you.
Order.
So therefore we have to say sadly, hundreds of thousands of deserving students were left without the support they could have got. Like the 200 million that went to Nkandla. It could have been used to produce 10 to 20,000 matriculants. Today those children are walking the countrysides of Nkandla, Mtunzini and other areas. No education, no support for them. Because one house had to be built. One homestead had to be built for one individual or one family in this country. I still have a question in my mind I have not been able to answer. Why was President Mandela not given also some 200 million rand? Why was former President Thabo Mbeki not also given 200 million rand? And if Public Works did that, we want an account. Tell us. Let Public Works tell us that it spent similar amounts of money on President Nelson Mandela, on former President Thabo Mbeki as well. The time has come, and it must come, that the ruling party must account for its actions. There cannot be this lack of equality before the law. There cannot be this situation accepted in which certain individuals lord it over the entire nation. Otherwise, the years we spent in exiles, in jails, and all of that are worth nothing. I say again that I will not be silenced. I will not be silenced whilst those who are privileged forget that they come from the townships of Soweto, Mlazi, Mdantsane, that they come from nowhere. And now that they have climbed seats of power, forget the people they left behind. They forget the homes from which they came. They forget their own people. Indeed, they forget that once we sat together in the prisons, eating mealies, promising ourselves that when the day shall come, we will be loyal to the wishes of our people, we will prioritize the people and make sure that there's a better life for all, as President Mandela first told us on Robben Island, then told us from this podium. A better life for all. Why is that better life for all? Look at the people, at our people at Oliven Bush. Look at our people in Deep Slough. Look at our people in Mdantsane. Where is the better life for all? Can't we be ashamed of what we have done? What has become of us? In any event, more significantly, government, now we are being told that we are going to have to tax some more, but we are not being told. When are we going to, what is government doing to recover the 45 billion rand? They don't tell us about that. They tell us about how much tax we must pay. But why have you not, what are you going to do to recover? What are you going to do? What are you doing to recover the 45 billion rand that disappeared? What are you doing now? What are you doing today to recover our 200 million that went into Nkandla? What are you doing now to ensure that each and every one of these people that are being arrested with corruption pay for that? Instead, they get elected to the leadership of the ruling party. They go into the NEC and all of that. All of that is full of people This one has stolen that. That one is in Travelgate. This one is in that. They are all in the National Executive. Instead of punishing people who commit crime, the ruling party reward them with higher positions, not only in the party, but also in the government. We must tell these truths. If we don't tell this truth, we will be ourselves betrayed. The young people of our country, generations to come, will condemn us. So I refuse to be silent. So the minister will come. He says he's going to set up a commission. Well, government has said that he's going to have to set up a commission to check, to revise our tax and so on. We'll have to pay more. We'll have to pay more. But we are not being told what is being done to recover the money that's been lost under the watch of this government. So the president has no answer to those things because he said nothing about them. He said nothing about that. He went dead quiet about it and spoke about all of the other things which are irrelevant when it comes to the question of survival of the people. Now, right to know, other things, of course, are happening. And I must say these things I'm saying quickly before the dark days come. Right to know has drawn our attention to the fact that the ruling party is pushing for even more secrecy than before. Right to know reported on 2012 survey by the South African History Archives, which facilitates track promotion of access to information. They say that of the 159 requests made, the archive noted that 102 were refused outright or received no reply. More and more we ask the questions, more and more silence. That is the government track record of accountability and
Honourable
transparency.
Member, your time has expired.
Won't you add a few minutes for the
Honourable
time?
Member, order. Honourable Member, your time has expired. You did not lose any time. The clock was paused.